What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Bourbon Bullshit podcast with some good friends, great drinks, and a little bit of BS. So grab a seat, pour up something neat, and welcome to the show. All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into an episode of the show. Today I'm here with local photographer, avid runner, awesome human being, David Lawrence. We are actually on site in his exhibit, which we have the honor to be here in real time. And it's actually really dope. So David, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Nice to officially meet you. See you off the television screen, or the iPhone screen, I should say.
Yeah. No one ever goes on TV anymore.
Yeah. Some screen. It's nice to see you off the screen.
Yeah. Well, pleasure, man. Pleasure's all mine. We were connected by a good friend of the show. For those listeners who have listened before, John Estrada, John No H, introduced us from Run BMT. So thank you to him, because if I don't say thank you, he's going to whine about it. And
you also have to be clear that you can't pronounce the H, or he will K-word you.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if we can say the K-word on the podcast.
He might unalive you.
Yeah, he might unalive you.
Or at least he'll try.
Yeah, or at least try, yeah.
He's got
a little man syndrome.
Right. Thank you. I'm making that a soundbite. A minute and 32 seconds. But you've been good. You've been running with John for some time. He told me that you would be one of the most awesome, fantastic guests to have. He loves you. So he speaks nothing but your praises. So
amazing.
I truly do take his word with some weight. So him advocating for you, I was like, yes, we'll get with David Lawrence.
Incredible.
So how are you doing, man? Tell us about this space. Tell us about who you are and how long you've been with photography. Well,
yeah. How long have I been doing things? My name is David Lawrence. I am a portrait photographer and artist. I am 33 years old.
Years young.
Yeah, years young. Yeah, it actually is pretty young. 33 is pretty young.
Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah. I've been doing photography for most of my adult life, as a job for 12 years. And then we're currently sitting in the So What Arts Gallery space in downtown Orlando, and that is a monthly curated gallery curated by a local artist and tattoo shop owner named Scott White. And every month he finds a different artist to help curate their work and do a show, and the artist can use the space for the whole entire month. So I currently have an exhibit set up here that's on display until June 6th. It's called Real Time. I don't know if
tell me. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if there's gonna be other questions that lead up to that, but it's called Real Time. It's the first ever fully verifiable NFT photo collection. So what that means is, to my friends' knowledge, there hasn't been a photo project that has been completely verifiable. And what that means is that it goes beyond just the artist or the photographer's word of where the photo was taken. So my friend created an app that every time you take a photo, it automatically publishes the time and the location and whether or not there were any edits into the metadata. And then it's published online as an NFT using the Ethereum blockchain. So there's a permanent record of the photo, and you can go online and see the photo and see the map and see the time. And it's completely verifiable that it hasn't been edited or faked. So
that's pretty dope. How do you what's the name of the app and what made him?
It's called Real Photos.
Real Photos.
Yeah. Okay. And I think he's
REAL or
REAL.
Okay.
And
it might have been a play on photography real REE.
No, that would make sense, but no, just real photos. And I think part of it was that he just didn't like that you couldn't tell what was AI and what wasn't in this day and age. And there's even starting to become a thing now called AI photography, where people will say that something is a photo or will mimic a photo. Not even they're trying to be deceitful. It's just this is photography created by AI, or what they're saying is photography. And you can't really tell a difference. And so he just wanted a way to have things be completely true and honest. And then beyond that, make it so that artists could sell and share their work using blockchain technology.
Which is awesome. And it's ironic that you say that, because a couple of weeks ago, I even started noticing as I uploaded anything, raw pictures, anything that I took, Instagram would ask me, is this AI? Is this rendered by anything? Is this artificial in any way to make it seem like it's realistic? And I was like, what the heck? Like, why would something? And it's true that now, especially apps like Midjourney, Leonardo, all these, heck, ChatGPT is now doing image generation.
And I have nothing against any of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I use ChatGPT literally every day for everything.
I'm nothing against it. I just think it's interesting because you're right. If we're not careful, if someone is very much so wanting an authentic, genuine, real human's creative work, there's not as often as a way to prove it. Short of me knowing the photographer directly and me talk, hey, David, can you take this picture of this specific thing with me? Short of that, there's not as many ways for the common person to prove that that's not AI. Outside of them doing shitty jobs at fingers and all that stuff. But that's interesting. I didn't know that there was a kind of a market for that need of an app, but that makes complete sense from a creator standpoint and an artist standpoint.
Yeah, it's been super cool. And like I said, like here in the installation, there's a couple different QR codes around the room. Not that everyone could see, but if you were here, you could go on like the website and you can literally see each photo that's in the gallery and click on it and see like all of the metadata, and you can see on the map where it was shot and the time and like literally everything. So like every photo that I have up is verifiable.
That's freaking dope. And are many of these local artists, or they were just around?
So these are all images that I shot.
These are all yours?
Yeah.
Some fucking good pictures, David.
Yeah. So these
are all a professional photographer.
These are all thanks. These are all photos that I took using the app. So you have to take photos inside of the app. That way it can be verified and tracked. And then it's published directly from the app, and then I printed them out myself.
That's awesome, man. I love the creativity, and I love that you took the first opportunity to hype your friend up. That tells me something about a genuine human being you are.
Yeah, thanks.
Like, we're starting an interview about David. Let me tell you about my friend. I love that. I'm not even being funny. I actually really like that. That tells me a lot. So this current show, we know that you've been 13 years into photography, all that, but what originally got you into photography? Like, what put you down this path? Because I remember being younger and my family would tell me, starving artist for a reason. Yeah. Like, that's not the easiest path for someone, right?
Definitely not easy. Do not recommend it. I mean, I recommend you do whatever you want, but financially,
do what makes you happy.
It may not always be the most lucrative or stable.
Yeah.
So originally I was just interested in art and creativity. I moved to Seattle, Washington when I was 18. Everyone on my mom's side of the family is from there. And when I moved there, I was a part of a church, like a church there. And 5 of the friends that I met through like that local community were all professional photographers. How someone meets 5 different people that are all professional photographers, I don't really know.
It's
but
the same space too.
But they were like there. 2 or 3 of them were my roommates. 2 other people were like just friends in our friend group. I should also say that the gallery that we're in is open, and it's like a working art studio, so anyone could walk in at any time.
It's part of the allure.
Yeah, part of the allure
of this episode.
But yeah, I was just really interested in art. I was never like super creative. I couldn't draw, couldn't sing. But I would see the photos that my friends would make. The main interest originally, I think for me, was weddings. Like a friend of mine named Jenny, she was a wedding photographer. She was going to Cornish School of the Arts there, which is like a pretty like well-established art school in Seattle. And I would see a lot of her work, and she would show me all these different wedding photographers, and that absolutely like blew my mind. There was a another photographer who was my roommate, named Will Foster, who he was primarily a portrait photographer. And I remember like we lived together and he had all these photos inside his room that he had printed, and they were just like beautiful portraits of people. And I realized that as long as I got a camera with just a click of a button, I could make something beautiful. So it was just a thought at first. And then my cousin who lived in Seattle, just randomly out of nowhere, we didn't talk about any of this. She just like showed up one day and was like, "Hey, I got you a camera." It was just like an old film camera.
She knew that you were interested and curious.
I guess. I mean, she didn't know. She just thought it'd be. I asked her a couple years ago, actually, like why she did that, and she was like, "I don't know. I just thought you'd be interested in it."
Here she is setting you up for your dream.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, I just started shooting film, and then saved up and bought a digital camera, and just started photographing all my roommates, and then photographed a wedding. One of my roommates was getting married, and he was like, I did his engagement photos just to practice because that's like what I would see my friends doing. And then his fiance was like, "We'll give you $500 if you want to shoot our wedding, and you can literally do it however you want." And I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing, but okay." And then
that's pretty awesome. Though.
Yeah.
Give a really great opportunity to try out in a real life setting with.
Yeah. Okay. No, definitely. So that was like the first kind of like entryway into it, and then just kind of kept evolving and going from there.
When it turned into, so went from wedding to just kind of having fun, and that was your first camera. What was the camera?
It was a Canon Rebel T3i.
Oh my God. That's a solid camera for a
they're great cameras. Yeah. They're like $500.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that's not like a little throwaway bullshit disposable camera. That's a solid, your cousin hooked you up.
Well, no, she gave me a Pentax K1000, which is like it's like an introductory film camera.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like,
and then maybe like a year or so after that, I bought a digital camera. Okay. I think it was like $600. It was like a basic. Mm-hmm. I remember I had to like save up. I tried to save up because I wanted a camera, and then I this is not a joke. I ran into a guy on my bicycle. Like I was going down a hill, and I blew through a red light, and a guy saw me coming, and he froze. And I just like slammed into him, and he was fine. Thankfully, do not run red lights going down a hill.
No. But bicycle or not.
Yeah. And I hit a pedestrian on my bicycle, which I feel like no one can really say that. It's usually like the opposite. Mm-hmm. And I would that's never happened again, thankfully. And I would have never planned for that to happen. But thankfully the guy was fine. And it kind of felt like one of those, like, sure, it shouldn't have been like running through the red light, but like, it's like you're on a bicycle. You're not really like expecting that someone's going to like jump out in front of you and like freeze.
Yeah.
It's like on bicycles, I know you're supposed to obey the law, but it's just like, you kind of just do whatever.
David, are you one of those?
For right or wrong. And so I ended up having to he ended up going and he was just going to leave. And I was like, "Hey bro, like, are you sure you're can you take my information? If you get down the street or something, and you get dizzy or whatever, I want to, I feel I don't feel good about any of this. One, I'm sorry, but two, if something happens to you, can you
let me know?
Please let me know." Mm-hmm. And that was honestly crazy when I think back to it, because I was 19 at the time. And I was just coming home from work. I worked at this hair salon in downtown Seattle, just as not like a doorman, but just like a front desk receptionist.
Okay.
And so it's I don't know. I remember it was just such a crazy freak thing. Yeah. And so he ended up getting dizzy.
Oh shit.
And so he ended up going to the hospital and getting an x-ray, and they were like, "Oh, you're fine. We think you're just in shock because some maniac hit you with their bicycle, going down a hill."
Yeah.
But he was fine, thankfully. So I ended up having to use the money that I saved up for that. To pay his
medical bill.
Yeah, to pay, because it was $500 for x-rays or something.
Damn.
And I remember I'd worked I don't know. I feel like the whole like several months before that, or like 6 months or something, like saving it up. And then, so there's like 2 different times that like something happened, but then I was finally able to do it. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. So sorry to that guy. His name was Arturo.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's my name in Spanish.
Oh, nice. That makes sense. Yeah, it wasn't you. Was
Just
it?
rip off a mask.
You should have
It's
kept
like,
walking.
I've been
I'm
this
so mad
whole
at you.
time.
But even though it's my fault, like,
I'm so mad at you. You should not have frozen in.
Yeah, you should not have frozen. You should have kept walking.
Yeah.
What a crazy story. I don't know.
Why,
Like,
that's still, you're right though. Like, why freeze? I feel like jumping out of the way is the
okay,
right move.
so I noticed something that I do the same thing. Like,
I guess unless I'm in that situation, I wouldn't
like
know. Yeah.
I was driving the other day and a car pulled out, like went through like a red light, and instead of me going straight without thinking about it, I just slammed on my brakes, which like in all reality it would have made sense if I just like kept driving. So like, I don't know, I get it. If you see something coming, like I guess sometimes
natural
your
reaction is to
intention
stop.
is just to freeze.
That's I guess that makes sense because you're hoping that person adjusts, because if you both adjust, you might just still end up hitting each other.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, but hopefully that guy's okay. I mean,
Yeah, he's fine. I kept in touch with him actually for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
They built a
just
friendship?
like via text, but like,
it's like, hey, you still don't have CTE, right? Like,
yeah, yeah, no, literally. So, God, what a story.
Yeah, I mean, I pushed you a little bit behind on the getting a camera, but you still just went right back at it.
Yeah, no, I went right back at it, and also tried not to run any more lights on my bicycle.
Did you become a much more conscious like cyclist?
See, okay, so the thing is, I started after that, probably like a year or two, I started doing bike delivery for Jimmy John's, and it was in downtown Seattle.
A sub above?
Yeah. And so like, basically there would be like 6 or 7 like delivery drivers. They called them drivers, but they were bicyclists, like on a shift at the time. And the shift was like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1:30. And so all the drivers would try and get as many as deliveries as they could as possible. So that didn't help anything, because it was like a literal free-for-all. Like we would like weave in and out of traffic. Like because it was just like the more you could deliver, the more tips you would get. And you only had that two-hour window, and then they would start cutting like the people that got there earliest. So probably not. If anything, my riding probably got even more insane, despite me almost unaliving a pedestrian.
Almost unaliving a pedestrian. Still, you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I need
the money. I was a broke college student. Like, you're like 18.
Hey,
like,
I'm not mad
you
at
gotta
it.
hustle.
Oh, I am not mad at it. We have been broke before, bro. Like, I'm still kind of broke.
Still definitely kind of broke, for sure. Don't look at my bank account or my credit score.
In 2025, I'm hella broke.
Yeah.
Like,
I understand.
Yeah, but that's still a crazy story though,
Yeah.
because it I could imagine being that moment of like, I am so close to my goal, and then a personal mistake puts you behind.
For
But
sure.
You did the right thing though.
Definitely.
You're a good human being. You didn't just write off as like, oh, he'll be fine.
No,
You
I don't
fucking
think I could ever, like, I always wonder when I see people that like,
hit a car and run.
yeah, or even
fucking hate
just
people.
like,
I hate
are
you.
just like living double lives. Like, I feel like growing up, like you'd hear about like a friend of a friend who like you found out they had like a second family.
Oh
or
my
like,
God, all the time I
like,
hear that shit.
And it's just like, how do people do that? Like, not even me like judging them. I just don't know how you can like, I guess, not do the correct thing. But apparently it's difficult.
I am Dominican, and one of the jokes in general, shut up everyone at home right now who said this joke in their head before I said it. One of the jokes is Dominicans have like separate families in different countries and states. They're like, oh, I'm visiting my...
No, my family's Colombian. I feel like it's like the same.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, I've found out that I have so many relatives,
Bro,
like all from different families. My dad has 5 different sisters, all from different families.
I am one of 8 last I
Yeah.
checked, and I don't know if he kept going on my dad's side.
Yeah.
I remember getting a phone call one time, and my mom, I think I was like 13 at the time, was like, hey, the phone's for you. I was like, all right, who is it? She's like, oh, it's your sister. And I look at my little sister that I have known her whole life. I'm like, no, it's not. She's like, no, it's one of your dad's kids. It was like, am I not the only one? She's like, no.
Yeah.
And that's when she started letting me know that my dad was a whore. And then there was like 8 kids running around, all these kids around the United States, some in other countries, DR and all that. And it was like, oh, the jokes aren't jokes. Like they have separate lives and families everywhere.
No, like literally, like when I found out like that I had a bunch of relatives that I didn't know, like we found out about them through 23andMe. One of my like roommates at the time was like, congrats, like you really are Hispanic. He was like, I find out I have new relatives like every couple months.
Mm-hmm. I met my brother. I went to visit DR. Long crazy story that is for like bonus episodes. One day I'll reveal how like I had to go to Dominican Republic to get money that my dad owed my mom.
That's
like
crazy.
Like a thug. I had to show up.
That's insane.
Yeah. So while we're out there, we're going to go pick up like the car that my father had been driving, and to find like I see the mechanic coming up. I was like, that motherfucker looks really familiar. Dark skin, but much darker than me. I was like, no. And we're talking. My dad talks to him. They have a full conversation. And almost like second thought, he's like, oh, yeah, that's your brother. He introduces us. And he's like, he's as surprised as me.
No big deal.
No big deal. We're both like looking at each other. He's like, what the fuck? And he looks exactly like me, just 2 shades darker. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
That's
this is the
literally crazy.
Weirdest. Yes, it was the weirdest fucking thing. He's as surprised. He's like, oh, shit. When did you get here?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. He's like, are you from America? I was like, yes. Yes.
That's crazy. Do you still talk to him?
No, not a single one of them.
That's crazy.
And it's not like out of any malice or anything like that. It's just, I think that that relationship with my dad and all that, they might have also a fractured relationship where their frustrations with him might have turned into how they interact with the rest of us. So we kind of just like, we don't like that guy. And we just don't talk. But whatever. That's for bonus episodes, guys. Welcome to Bourbon and Therapy.
Incredible.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to get to know David a little bit more, hear more about what got him into photography and everything else about him. And the man for once is on this side of the lens. So be right back.
Hey guys, here at the show, we ask that you follow 3 simple rules that'll save your night and possibly your dignity. Rule number 1, don't drink and drive. Seriously, Uber exists for a reason. If you wouldn't trust yourself to build IKEA furniture after 3 bourbons, you definitely shouldn't be behind the wheel. Rule number 2, avoid Amazon one-click buy. Drunk you thinks a medieval suit of armor is a great investment. Sober you, not so much. And then try to explain to your credit card company that. And finally, rule number 3, do not text your ex. Look, they had their chance, and you deserve better. No one ever found happiness at the bottom of a 2 a.m. I miss you text. Move on, hydrate, and remember, you're better than that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Text literally anyone else. Text your Uber driver that you missed them, but not your ex. Seriously, all jokes aside, stay safe, do the right thing, and take care of yourselves. All right, guys, now back to the show.
All right, guys, we are back, and then I just realized that John and David apparently say the same random. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah?
God damn it, Jonathan. Yeah, I know that you had nothing to do with him.
You know what? I don't want to say but I was going to say you can probably assume what we are watching in our free time. We're broken human beings.
I don't know if it's broken.
No, I know. But John does do that, and I do that of my own accord. So, yeah.
I thought he just did the noise while I'm setting stuff up, and I hear, oh, yeah.
So John asked me, what are you going to talk about on the podcast? And I was like, honestly, the last time I was on a podcast, which was a couple weeks ago, which it isn't that often. It just happened to have done one a couple weeks ago with some friends.
They're pretty popular, sir.
I know. They have people make up a fake ad at the end. And I was like, yeah, actually, like, I've had like really bad herpes for a long time, and I like am working on like a numbing cream that like helps take away the pain and like just like gives you like really soothing comfort. And I told John this while we were like standing in line at a coffee shop with a bunch of people around, and I don't think he was expecting me to say that at all.
Do you have the ad right now? Can you do the ad right now?
No, that was it. Damn. Yeah. That was literally it. But
fucking hilarious.
And then they just like went with it, and we talked for 5 minutes about this herpes cream that I was working on, and now it's coming up again. But at the beginning of this podcast, my poor mom, I sent her a video on Mother's Day of there's an Asian content creator who does this thing where like he will pull, like, he'll set a glass on a table and he'll pull the
Yeah.
tablecloth off
Yeah, I've seen
and
him.
make it stay. Yeah. So he did one on Mother's Day where he put 2 plungers on his nipples, and at the end of the plungers he put matches, and then he lit a candle using the plungers in his nipples, and then he just, when it lit on fire, he held up a sign that said Happy Mother's Day that had like nothing to do with it. So I sent that to my mom. So yeah, I'm just full of excitement.
I love that.
I
fuck with my mom all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's always at Mother's Day. She's like, "Oh," I asked her, I was like, I want to take you out, grab drinks or food. She's like, "No, I'm too old. I don't want to do anything." I was like, "Do you want to go to a strip club instead?" She's like, "What?"
Dude,
she's like, "No."
So I have never been to a strip club. I can honestly say that, which I know is rare for a lot of people. And it's not really like, I'm not like morally against it necessarily.
Well,
but
I
it's
hate
just
strip clubs.
Never been like a priority to me personally. But if my mom called me up, God, if she hears this is so bad. In a hypothetical world, if my mom called me up and was like, "Hey, do you want to go to a strip club?"
I'm going.
1000%.
I'm dropping
like,
everything I'm doing.
Literally. Like, that is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
If my mom called me and
That is
said,
a once in a millennial, like,
if she's like, "I'm going to Mom's Venus in Miami. Do you want to go?" Yes.
yes, 1000%.
I will bring the
sprint
hundreds.
there.
I will bring the hundreds. I will get her a private dance.
Yeah,
from a lady.
if I don't have money, I will go to the pawn shop. Like, I will figure something out. Like,
I'm selling feet pictures that John has.
Yeah.
Something. I'm doing
anything. Yeah.
My mom has drunkenly called me and said, "Hey, I'm at Denny's. It's like 1:30 in the morning." She's like, "I'm at Denny's. Do you want something?" It's like,
That's
it is
amazing.
1:30
Neither
in
of my
the-
parents ever drank, so I don't have any.
Well, it was like she had just moved to Florida. It was like no, not just had. She had been living here for a couple of years, and my aunt was going through this like divorce, whatever. So she was like, they're going to Blue Martini and like for ladies' night and all like the classic nights or like basically the older crowd. So she was living it up. But my aunt apparently said, "I'm drunk and I want food." And my mom's first thought is, "I need to see if my son ate." At 1:30 in the morning, bro.
She's a caring mom.
Yeah, I love her to death, but I was like, "Who's driving if you are both drunk?" She's like, "Who's fine? We're gonna eat, and then when we're done eating, do you want me to bring a burger or anything? Let me know. I'll tell them to put no cheese on it." And blah blah. I'm like,
Mom, it's 1:30 in the morning.
I'm like, it is 1:30 in the morning. She's like, "Are you home already? What are you?" She's like, "I'm the mom. You're supposed to be out partying too. Like, I thought you should be
So
out."
funny.
I was like, "This is some bullshit. I'm being fucking judged by my mom for having no social life." But that's
She's like, "You're weak. You are weak."
She's like, "You have weak constitution. You should be out partying. You're young." But we're gonna send this to moms. Watch, I'm gonna just send this right to her. And then you right now, your style of photography, I see a lot of, these aren't all portraits, but online you talk about portrait style photography. What led you into had you lean into that?
Yeah, I mean, I just like people and storytelling, and it's really as simple as that.
It is just that spoke to you more. And
Yeah, I mean, I just like
so when you are
photographing people.
Okay, so tell me about that process. Like when you have someone coming in or says book something, like
Yeah.
you said you enjoy the storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I say storytelling through the aspect of just showing who the person authentically is, but
Oh shit, that's me.
yeah, definitely, for sure.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so like I just want people to feel like themselves. And I think that if I sit down with someone and they're going to get photographed by me, the goal is to make a photo that looks and feels like them. And I really just try and create space for them to be themselves in the best way possible.
I appreciate that. I think that it brings forward not robotic J.C. Penney style.
Those are pretty fun, though.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun, but the really old school ones, not the ones that people are doing for fun.
Yeah.
The really, really old school ones look
Those
forced.
were intentionally fun.
Yeah, those are just like, what is that? Is that a giant cat in the background? What are we doing here? Like they all look very
So funny.
militant and unhappy about the situation. Nowadays, John and I are trying to set up one soon, so definitely
Amazing.
Interesting one. So how do you like do that for one? You are a warm and inviting guy. First thing we did, shook hands and hugged, making sure like so
Kissed you on the mouth.
a little bit. Yeah.
My lawyer always tells me to be careful with that.
Yeah,
but
it's
I say fuck them.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Like, how can we get
Just
into
kidding.
the,
I'm not kissing any of my clients. If anyone hears that,
She offers that as part of the bonus features.
yeah, you actually paid extra.
Hey,
Oh. If anyone hears that, none of that is happening.
None of that is happening. Anything that's happening is consensual.
Yeah.
Mind your business. So how do you build that like rapport with your clients? Do you reach out to them in advance? Like, what do you do to get someone uncomfortable? Because I'll be the first to admit, I hate taking pictures.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone does. I'd say 95% of people do.
Some people would like that shit.
I mean, some people do, but I'd say 90% of the people that I work with don't like getting their photo taken, or they feel awkward or feel out of place. And yeah, I mean, there's not really like a step-by-step process as much as it's just like, hey, like, I just want you to be yourself. Like, if I tell you to look to the left and looking to the right feels more comfortable, then do that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that like most of the time, like I've been doing this for so long now that I have like a body of work or like multiple bodies of work that I think that my observation is that people are able to look at it and generally get the theme or the understanding out of it, that like my goal is to create a space for authenticity. So I don't really feel like there's even that much that I have to do. Like in some ways, like the work and just the way I put myself out, like just in the world, whether it's through social media or whatever, seem to translate that without me even having to do
anything.
A ton, maybe not anything, but like a ton of explaining. Like I really don't give clients any instructions.
Really?
It's usually just like, what do you want? Like, show me some examples. Tell me how many photos you need, like your budget, etc. And just like come as yourself. Sometimes people will be like, what do I wear? And I'm like, literally wear anything you want. Like there's really no rhyme or reason to any of it.
I like that. You're letting them be 100% genuine themselves and have all the, give or take all the power in this.
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah. That's a good technique. And I think that makes sense. You, even in the photos that you've taken online and I've seen online, everyone seems to actually be having fun.
Yeah.
It does not seem like it was a stuffy enjoy and like, oh God, this fucking, oh my God, I have to twist my leg to the left.
Yeah, definitely.
A certain angle. It seems like they're actually enjoying themselves. Like it's a fun experience. And it looks like you're having fun doing it too.
Definitely.
Even when I see your videos online, all that, like you just seem, this is genuinely what you enjoy doing. And the people aspect speaks a lot to you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Don't think you're the one doing it, man.
I appreciate you noticing that and pointing it out.
Yeah. And to be fair, you've done some really interesting shoots. You storytell yourself. You're vulnerable online, like vulnerable or open, at least online. So I think you've created a space where the clients want that.
Thanks. I definitely try, for sure.
Yeah. We recently did an episode with sound engineer Tony Solis, and he talked about like a newer generation approaching things differently than tradition, looking for newer frames, creatives, newer frame of minds, and creating a safe space where people could just be genuine themselves and not have to follow every single instruction to get the exact prototypical portrait.
Yeah.
It's probably welcome and refreshing.
Definitely. I mean, that's what I hear. Like, that's like what I feel like I hear from people is they're just like, man, like I love that, like you just make people look beautiful just on their own, like just from them existing. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's really cool.
I think it's fucking badass.
Thanks.
I will hype you up more than you hype you up.
Thanks.
Because that's who I am. So you've done these portraits and you obviously have all these pictures here, and you've had a vast experience in the space of photography. What's something that's kind of like stood out, or some highlights of like from your photography career?
Yeah,
I know you couldn't pick a favorite one.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, I think that my favorite thing about photography is like, I don't know if this sounds like vain, but I love just the access that it gives into people's lives. Getting a front row seat to just like witness people in whatever space or current time they're at. Like I photographed a wedding the other day, and it was just like maybe like 20 of their closest friends and family, and like it was on the beach, and they got married beforehand, and then they literally just like handed out like a written like prayer or blessing to each guest and like had them like read it aloud. And just like, I don't know, like, I don't think it was religious or anything, but like they just had them like speak like a a blessing over them, like had their guests each speak a blessing over the couple. And that was really like moving and touching, and just like felt like, oh man, like it's a like honor or a privilege to be here. And that stuff is really cool. Like, I don't know, I get to just meet people wherever they're at. Like I've done everything imaginable. Like I've photographed people with like Parkinson's disease, and like people that like have like cancer, or like,
How'd you end up doing those?
just kind of
They just called and
come to me, or like,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, generally it's just like people reach out to me, or like I'll do an open call online for certain projects. Like I did a series called Bodies, where I
Great
just
transition. That was the next question.
Oh, yeah,
Tell
yeah.
me about bodies.
Yeah, so like for 2 or 3 years, maybe, I just photographed like every body type imaginable, and did a whole like body of work in like multiple galleries where I just documented different body types. And part of that was like, there was a lady with Parkinson's disease who was like, she was like in her 60s or early 70s, was like, hey, like if you ever need someone to like sit for a shoot, like I'm down. Like there was another guy that had cerebral palsy. And I believe I think that's what it was. Who like, he like came and sat for a photo. And that was like really wild. Like showed me like all his scars with like the surgery that he had. Like, someone else came and like sat for a photo who's like basically paralyzed, like in that same instance. Yeah, like I just like have had so many people with such like just wild stories just respond to things on social media and be like, hey, I want to come and just sit for a photo.
That connection too, right? For you, do you end up taking some of that away with you? Like,
yeah, I mean,
that was natural empathy, right?
Like, yeah, I mean, like, well, can you rephrase that? Like,
so working with those people with very
Yeah.
unique circumstances, and you kind of getting, you said yourself that you enjoy the storytelling, hearing
Yeah.
their stories, seeing some very dynamic range of people. Does that kind of reshape the way you approach things or see things, or kind of
yeah, I mean, I think it just like makes me just like have grace for people. And even myself, probably more so others than myself.
Yeah.
But
so your own worst critic, huh?
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know that I'm a critic. I mean, maybe you could say I'm a critic, but I definitely am hard on myself for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like, I think it just like makes me just like have more understanding. Yeah, empathy, like you said, I don't think of it like that, but yeah, like you never know really what people are going through or what they've been through or where they're at. Yeah, like even outside of that, like I remember like years ago, I was doing an installation in downtown Orlando, and this, it was for a big festival, and like literally hundreds of people were coming to this installation. And they would come through and they would sit down and they would get a portrait, and then we would print 2 copies of it out, and one for them to take home and the other for them to like sign and then put on a wall in this gallery. And this girl was like sobbing, and she still like wanted her picture taken, and I was like very confused by what was happening. And then like someone who was helping me with the installation told me after that, like as she was getting the print, she was like, yeah, like I had a doctor's appointment before this, and I was supposed to come here, and they like told me I had a brain tumor, and I decided to still like come, and like I wanted to remember this day. And I was just like,
Holy shit.
I don't know, like it's just like, that's wild. Like when he like told me that, like I was just like, that's fucking crazy. Like I was like, I'd be crying too, but like even beyond that, like I don't know, you just never know. I've sat with people so many times that have just been like having hard days, or like there's even on my end, like there's been times where like not, I try not to like ever like make clients feel like the weight of anything in my life, but it's like if you're having a long conversation, like you're gonna ask each other about your lives. And like I remember like when I was like splitting up with my wife, I had this client who was really, really sweet. They were a family, and just like very intentional people. And she kept asking me, it was right around New Year's. And like, she just like kept asking me about the past year. And like, I was just very like quiet, because I wasn't going to be like, oh man, this has been like it's a family shoot. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh man, this has been like a horrible past year. Like, my wife and I are like splitting up, and like finally got to the end of the shoot, and she like asked me again, like a really intentional question about like what I was wanting from the next year, like what had been like maybe the hardest. And I was like, well, keep asking. Like, I'll just talk with you. And I don't feel like she was like trying to pry or anything. It was just like a part of like who she was.
Maybe she noticed that.
Yeah, maybe that was part of it too. Like, and I remember just like having like this like really like vulnerable conversation with them, and like sitting with them for like part of the evening after, and just like drinking tea together. And like, there's been like so many times where like, I think that not only have I like met clients where they've at, like, or like people I'm photographing, they've also like met me where I'm at. And like, we've become friends, or like build a connection. Like, some of my like best friends are all through photography.
Oh, we just met. Look at you. I'm just
Yeah. Yeah, literally. But that's funny. But yeah, like so many people have just like started out as clients, and then it's like after some time, it's like we're like sharing life together.
I mean, to be fair, photography is a vulnerable space.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess I don't really think of it that way, but yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like,
and I say this. And
I
this
mean,
is
you're not wrong. I just am
Yeah.
not thinking. I think of it as
because I mean, all right. So this is from the guy who's not on your side of the lens, right? You have complete ability. You have all the power in the situation.
Yeah.
I'm the person who's completely on display, and I'm the most vulnerable I can be.
yeah.
For this photo session to go well, I have to be comfortable. I have to be
Yeah.
vulnerable. I have to be open. I have to be honest. And you said it yourself. You created. Well, I said it, and you said it. You created a space where people can talk to you.
Yeah.
You're a person on the other side of the lens. There's certain career paths that you're very much like. Almost like a therapist to people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely not a therapist,
No,
but
no.
sometimes it can feel.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a therapist, but
Yeah,
someone that
no,
they could
for
be
sure.
open with and honest and not
I
feel.
definitely have had an innumerable amount of time where like people have sat down with me and right off the bat just like told me like the most
Yeah.
personal, like vulnerable things.
It is crazy how
ever.
comfortable.
Like, and I'm just like, yo, we just met. Like, again, I'm not saying that. Like,
people but it's true. People like
yeah.
being honest and open with almost strangers
yeah,
because there's no repercussion for me telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I go home and I can live my normal life.
Definitely.
And that doesn't
For
come
sure.
back.
Yeah.
I said it out loud.
Yeah.
In a vulnerable space. So these
Yeah.
people could be your best. And the fact that you are open and honest and willing to like accept that information and not judge them. Yeah. I could see why people would want to be your friend after. It's like, I like
Yeah.
him. He created a good space. And I don't look chunky in his photos.
for sure.
Which is not a thing. Like he can't do that.
Definitely.
But I mean, that's awesome, man. And I think that it shows in how long you've been doing this and how much acclaim and all that you've gotten from all your work. This is not a small task. And you've been in Variety, New York Times. You've done a couple of other big name brands. And you don't get there without building a strong connection with people and people
for
seeing
sure.
your work.
Yeah, definitely.
So cheers to that, man.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Amazing.
Thank you for allowing us in your space.
Yeah,
I want to drink some of this
definitely.
before we go on.
You should also tell people what it is you're drinking. You said it was new. It has a, I don't know what this is, the Orlando Whiskey Society. It has a stamp of approval sticker on there. Do
So-
you know anything about that?
Me, maybe. So ironically enough, so today we are actually drinking a bottle of Fiddler's Whiskey. This one's actually a barrel pick from the Orlando Whiskey Society of Central Florida in works with one of our local liquor stores. They work with the Orlando Whiskey Society and they go to
that's
actual
cool.
distilleries and pick a barrel and say, this is ours.
Super cool.
So
It
this
says weeded and repeated.
Yes. So this is a cask strength single barrel. So it's going to be a little hotter than normal. It's a 59.1 ABV. So like 118 proof, 120
Okay.
proof.
I don't really even know what any of that means.
So it means that like you don't need much to get where you're going
Okay, heard.
at all. So a couple quick facts about the Fiddler's brand. The art of fiddling with whiskey. Fiddler's whiskey name reflects its innovative approach to whiskey making while their own spirits age. They experiment by blending and finishing whiskeys from various sources. So they're a blender by nature. This process, described as fiddling, allows them to craft distinct expressions and stand out in the whiskey world. One of the things that people don't consider is if you are new into whiskey as a producer, you're competing against brands who've been aging stuff for over 10 years. So the only way for you to keep up is to source stuff from different distillers and make your own special blend and then bottle it as your own. So you'll see blending being one of the bigger namesakes nowadays, or well, the methods nowadays, not namesake. So companies like, or distillers like / Downtown Winter Park, they do blending. They source their stuff from actual distillers that, well, not from other distillers, they are a distiller, from other distillers that they have tried and true. Another thing about them, their innovative techniques, they use a heartwood finish. Utilizing charred Georgia white oak staves imparts a textured complexity to the bourbon, and they have a toasted barrel finish. They have some unique ways. Some accolades and recognition. Fiddler's commitment to quality has served them gold medals at San Francisco's World Spirits Competition for several expressions, including their Unison, Heartwood, which we are drinking now, Georgia Heartwood, the Soloist. These accolades underscore their dedication to crafting exceptional whiskeys. And last but not least, they're made in Atlanta. Fiddler's whiskey is produced by ASW Distillery, marking a significant milestone at the first straight bourbon distilled in Atlanta since Georgia's early adoption of Prohibition in 1905. The revival of traditions distilling practices contributes to Atlanta's rich spirits heritage. So where everyone thinks all bourbon comes from Kentucky, which is proven false over and over and over, this is Atlanta's first distillery, long time. So definitely something unique, and I'm glad that I got to share it with you. I haven't tried it, but
it's really good.
Orlando,
super smooth.
Thanks, man. Orlando Whiskey Society, which I'm a member of, has not steered me wrong with any of their barrel picks.
And where can you get that?
So this will be a 5 Points liquor store in this is in Altamont Springs near Wekiva Springs. Okay. So maybe like 20 minutes away from here.
Cool.
But they're a fantastic vendor, and you just look for let them know that you're part of the Orlando Whiskey Society, and they will, or you have heard of them from either us or from / and they will hook you up.
Amazing.
Because it's crazy how much they're just like, hey, here, try this. Hey, here, try this. Hey, here, try this. I'm like, I don't have the ability to drink as long as
it's so funny.
But definitely a location that has some good stuff. So definitely check them out. Guys, we're going to take another commercial break, reset up some things, and we'll be right back to get into the nitty gritty of all the things David Lawrence. Be right back, guys.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you in part by Coach John Estrada of Run BMT Training, longtime supporter of the show and an absolute beast on pavement. And for the record, this man just crushed the LA Marathon. And if you're looking to level up your running game, John's the coach to get you there. That's John with no H. Trust me, he's going to correct you. Whether you're training for your first 5K or tackling a full marathon, Run BMT, the coach is there, and John will have you running smarter, faster, and injury-free. So if you need expert coaching, hit up John at blackmattertraining.com and tell him I sent you. Now, he might not give you a discount, but he will make you a better runner. Again, that's John at blackmattertraining.com. Now let's get back to it. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we are back with Mr. I'm going to just call you D-Law because it makes you sound like a thug. Listen.
Yeah, go for it. I got to get it tattooed on my knuckles.
Do that.
I'm going to eventually get a face tattoo.
What? Is it going to say D-Law?
I mean, why not? Like, it's not like I'm going to get fired from my job. I mean, maybe it might sway some clients, but like, who...
Yeah,
you're
a photographer.
Fire myself.
Yeah,
like maybe it's a little naive, but
you can't fire yourself.
Yeah.
Times have changed too. Even now, like tattoos are a lot more acceptable.
Yeah,
than
no,
they used
for
to be.
sure.
Even if you needed to go into a different industry.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You're doing photography. You're behind the camera.
Sure.
What does it matter what I look like? Fuck.
Definitely.
Worry about you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I also love the tattoo of the paper plane on your arm.
Oh, thanks. My friend, I was like, that's a good little shout out. My friend Kat, she goes by Kat's Tats. She started out doing stick and poke tattoos and then just basically taught herself how to use a tattoo gun, which is crazy. And that's like what she does full time.
How long has she been tattooing?
It's probably been like 5 years now, maybe. It's been a while. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah,
well,
it's super cool.
I'd love to meet her.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. That'd be really rad.
Yeah, I'll show up to the studio right there. And
that'd be fun. Hell yeah.
I'll record you guys getting tattooed. If
that would actually be sick. Yeah, that would be super sick. Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
We'll talk to
Kat's
Tats. Not a sponsor, but maybe affiliated.
Yeah, incredible.
So, I do want to make a correction. So I mistake.
He fucked up.
I fucked up. It's not.
Yeah, he fucked up.
So it's not 5 Points Liquor Store. It is 5-Star Liquor and Wine in Longwood, Florida. Details matter, kids. Details matter. So that is where this bottle you could procure, but it's right near Wakava Island. And for some reason, I thought it was 5 Points, which is, David told me it was in Atlanta.
Little neighborhood in Atlanta. They got a record store there that's really cool. There's some little restaurants, surf shops. It's cool.
Yeah, well,
little hip spot,
but it's not
little grungy.
Little grungy.
Yeah,
but definitely details matter. It is 5-Star Liquors, and just let them know that Bourbon BS sent you, or that you found out about them from the Orlando Whiskey Society. There, I fixed it because it was going to drive me fucking bananas. It's going to drive me so crazy afterwards. So, still getting back into you and your photography and your journey and everything. Now, I want to know a little bit more about you, your motivations, what the goals are, and your side quest. I like to joke about that. So we'll start with that because I know that Mr. No H has been dying for me to ask you about the hobby and your passion of ultra marathon running.
I wasn't sure what you were going to ask me. John will say some wild shit sometimes.
Is it the stripper thing? Because he told me about that too.
Anything. No. I feel like it's usually just something kind of sexual. We both will just say wild shit to each other. Yeah. So I was expecting you to just say something insane, whether it was true or not. But yeah, I got a couple years ago. I don't even know how. I think I was interested in running. And then I did like my first half marathon, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I joined a local run group called Run BMT. It's a basically like you pay to get like coaching in a group form, and it's usually 6 to 8 weeks. There's usually a goal at the end of it of either doing a 5K, a 10K, maybe like a 2-mile race, or a half marathon. And the goal is for everyone to do one of those things together, and we all train twice a week. So I started doing that, and then somewhere along the way, I discovered ultra running, which is anything over basically 30 miles or over a marathon. A marathon's 26.2 miles.
Over 30 miles?
Yeah. So the farthest I've ran is 52 miles.
The fuck? Were you being chased by two bears? What was
yeah, I was running from the law.
Jeez. Yeah. 32 miles? No, just get in the car.
Yeah.
Just get in the car.
So yeah, a friend of mine, who I knew him from the NFT space, because I've sold work as digital art for the last like 4 or 5 years now. He collected some of my work, and we just kept in touch. He started doing ultra marathons in Canada, in Toronto, and I was like, "Yo, I want to do one of those with you."
How many have you done?
Just 2.
Oh, that's more than I would ever.
But
Canada.
Yeah, so I was like, yo, I want to do one with you. So it basically was this is crazy. I'm laughing because I'm like hesitating just because it's so insane. I started dating someone recently, and
congratulations.
Thanks. And that's been like really good, challenging. Don't get me wrong, just because I'm a selfish bastard, and everyone is. We're all a little self-obsessed, but I'm learning and growing, as they say. But
it's part of the process.
On our first date, we went and got bagels, because she had in her profile that she likes bagels. So I was like, yo, you want to go to Jeff's Bagels? So we met up there. It was really good. We just like clicked right off the bat. And she was like, so kind of same question you asked. She was like, so you do like ultra marathons. What does that mean? I was like, well, yeah, I actually like ran from here to New Smyrna Beach. And she was like, what? Like literally it was like she saw a ghost. Like her eyes like glazed over. Like she couldn't like, it felt like her soul like left her body. Like she couldn't like fathom. She was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And like, so for me, like this affects a lot of things, but like I'm like have like gotten I've gotten like a psychological evaluation to figure out what is like right or wrong with my brain. I hate saying wrong, but like, so like,
Or unique, different.
yeah, like I don't actually care. It's just kind of funny to say that. But part of that was like getting diagnosed with ADHD and a bunch of other acronyms, many acronyms.
OCD too.
Yeah, OCD and like an anxiety disorder. They even said a slight displays slight tendencies towards narcissism, which I mean makes sense. My whole life is about me. It checks out. Like we're sitting in a gallery of my work. Oh, so how could it not be? But
you're a nice guy about it.
But yeah, no, for sure. It's like, it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just like that's what the psychologist said. But part of getting diagnosed, this is all going to make sense. Part of getting diagnosed with ADHD, I realized literally just in the last couple of days. I was listening to a book about ADHD, and she was saying that people with ADHD, the author, the she that I'm referencing, the author of this book, was saying that people with ADHD don't have guardrails. And what that means is there is little to nothing that stops the things that you share. There's little to nothing a lot of times that like stops like your actions. Like you don't know like really when to quit. And I think that can also affect like how you show up with casually just communicating like on a first date or like on this podcast, like, oh yeah, I ran 52 miles to the beach. Like this bagel's really good. Like to me, it's like, there's no differentiation between that and anything else in my life. Like, it's just like, oh, it's just like a part of what I do. But like when I tell like just a regular person on the street or on the date or on this podcast, they're like, no, like that's not normal. Like I don't just like wake up and do that. But yeah, it started from my friend in Canada. He lives kind of near Toronto. There's a whole entire organization that just plans ultra marathons year round. And he did a 30-mile one. And there's one called Tally in the Valley that we did last year. And it is I think a 4.25 mile loop that you just run on for anywhere from 6 to 24 hours. So we did the 12-hour race, and in that 12 hours, I ran 50 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can't see this, but I just had like this fucking deer in headlights moment.
Yeah, probably the same thing that like
your date.
Yeah.
I mean, but look, I'm gonna say this. You might not say it. I don't have to be as nice to everyone. Normal's not always fun. Normal's not.
Oh, definitely
normal's
not.
boring.
No, for
like,
sure.
Straight normal's boring.
Yeah.
So being unique and doing something that other people would think about maybe one day possibly thinking about doing. Notice how many thought about maybe possibly one day thinking about doing.
Yeah.
No, that's badass. And
I mean, it's nice sometimes to not have guardrails, but I mean, it can be a little questionable. I've definitely
made some mistakes.
Probably ended a lot of relationships or made a lot of relationships chaotic or made people not want to be around me at times just because I just fly off the handle.
I want you to listen to one of my episodes with Derby. So I'm also diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
And so is she.
Okay.
And we talked about that exact thing where relationships, friendships, all that are hard to maintain.
It's
because
rough.
The way your mind operates and the way you do things aren't always understood. And sometimes you don't understand what you're doing.
Sometimes literally
there are many a relationship. I'm not unhappy. I'm very, very happy. I'm glad I ruined all those relationships so I could have been with my significant other now before she interprets this in the wrong way. But there's
fuck
many.
her. No, I'm just kidding.
Goddamn.
But just kidding. We're kidding.
He said it, not me. Don't stab me.
We're kidding. I said I don't have guardrails.
Yeah. No, but one of the things that I realized very much through was like how my relationships suffered because I was always looking for that initial luster stage.
Yeah.
So I kept ending things when they got normal.
Dude, no, I've even we've only been seeing each other for this last month, and 2 weeks into it, I literally broke up with her because I just was like, oh, I don't know if this is a good fit. Like there wasn't really anything
a reason
per se. I just literally woke up and everything in me was like, I don't think this is right.
That's interesting.
And
because I've done that shit. That's why I'm saying it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an ADHD thing, but it is And it's like a couple days.
It depends on the tech too.
I guess it depends. Yeah. Like, but a couple days later, I was like, oh, I miss this person. Everything's fine. It was literally like nothing fucking happened. Obviously, things did happen. Like, but to me in my brain, it was just like, oh, it's just another day. Like, I got it out. Like, and it's like there are real life consequences to that. But like, I guess like if you're like neurodivergent, like you don't always realize the weight of your actions. And like, so again, it's not an excuse to be like unkind to people, but like there literally is sometimes nothing protecting you from that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's wild.
No, it is. Do you feel like, I mean, I'm assuming you were open with her about your ADHD or?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was I think that's another thing. It's like, I've been in enough relationships, and not even romantic relationships, just life in general, that like right off the bat now, I'm just like, I have ADHD. Like, sometimes I'm just going to say or do shit that like I'm not thinking about. Or like, again, I have to take responsibility for everything, even the things I don't think about. But like, sometimes I'm going to literally wake up and be convinced of something. Like, this doesn't happen a lot, but like, I'm going to wake up and be convinced that I'm supposed to do something and then do it. And then the next day, like, act like nothing ever happened. And like, life just goes back to normal.
Yeah.
Like,
I've gone through that.
Like, it's insane. Like,
yeah. From the outside looking in, it always looks to someone else that things are erratic and wild, and you might get typecast or thought of as a certain way, but it's not your intention.
For sure.
Just you're like, what? Does no one else think like this? It's always interesting.
Yeah. And I think the guardrails thing is the best thing that I've heard explained. Like, that like really helped me when I heard that, because I was like, oh, my life makes so much sense. Like, I don't have the normal guardrails to differentiate like thoughts,
appropriate versus inappropriate,
or even feelings.
Sense?
It's like there's been so many times where I've felt something and been like utterly convinced to go follow that feeling.
This is gospel. This is 100% accurate.
And then it like fades away. And like I go back to whatever the thing was before. Like, but it's like nothing could have like talked me out of those things, and it's wild. Like, our brains are literally wild.
Yeah. Like for me, I on our episode with Derby, we talked about, because she does roller derby, and she found her like athletic profile to like help manage her ADHD and medication for her. But I spoke about like, I became very focused on projects. Hey, at some point I was the project. I wanted to lose 65 pounds. I got into great shape. I did all this. I trained in different fight. I did all these things because it helped manage those impulses later on. Yeah. So while I'm in my quiet space, I could fucking wall out. Yeah. In my own personal space, and then it made me normal, and that's neurotypical to everyone else. And it's like, oh, they're like, wow, you really seem to get your life together. I was like, because I'm exhausted. Yeah. And because I've had to find other things to like that to focus on.
I think like, I mean,
at least for me personally,
there's a lot of things like getting on medication is really helpful. But even that is trial and like, for me, I've had like a lot of success with that, I think, but like, I know for a lot of people, it can be very much trial and error, where it's like, you have to go through tons of different things. And I think also just like with those erratic thoughts, like I realized even this past week, like, which is like very new for me, like, or these past couple weeks, like I've just been trying to take time to literally sit by myself, not talking with anyone, not doing literally anything other than maybe just like listening to music or drawing or like doing a puzzle or something.
Do you do journaling?
And just or like just something where I'm just like focused on just being present with myself. And I realized that like that was really helpful somehow for like just finding peace and learning to just sit with all the chaos in my brain, and being like, oh, I don't have to respond to this. Like, it can just be there. Like, you acknowledge it, but like, I'm just going to continue drawing or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's something about like, there's something different. I don't think being out in the world day to day, like doing normal things, allows us to be able to sift through those things in a sober way, because we're being hit by so many things. Whereas like, you're just sitting in silence, like in your house, like you're not being hit by the million different things. And you can, I'm guessing that you can hit like these thoughts a little more clearly and just like decipher them and sit with them and maybe not respond to everything because there isn't so much stimuli. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense.
Possibly. None of us are doctors, but
yeah,
we know what's works for us.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of value in journaling too.
Yeah.
A lot of value in journaling as well.
Definitely.
Because it's like I do like a 20-minute in the day, whether it could just be word vomit. There's no structure.
Yeah.
The one thing I do find that might be a little bit of OCD is like I have to start it the same. It has to be date, time, and location. Is the weirdest thing. I know where my journal is.
Yeah.
I know where I wrote this at.
Yeah.
But I need to in my mind, it's future me will be appreciative of knowing when and where I was.
Yeah.
And I'm planning for that like contingency where future me is going to be pissed at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I trying to people please me later on? This is stupid. I just write the thing down. But it's helped me a lot with at least, like you said, silence the noise.
Yeah.
Where if I don't get it out.
Or maybe not even silencing it, just being
really
able to sit
organize
with it.
Well,
yeah. Or make peace with it.
I guess for me, I almost like not silence it. I never want to silence it because I think that turns off who I am.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the things I've always worried about is if I like Silvana, John's fiance, I joke with her all the time. And this is all jokes. If you need therapy, see a therapist. This is a joke. Do not take what I'm saying out of context. I said I would love to go to see a therapist, but then I'm worried that would make me not funny anymore because they've helped me deal with my trauma. Yeah. I'm like, and I need this humor to get by. And she's like, stop. So it's never silence. I want to always be who I am, but I like to organize it because there's a part of me that then also gets frustrated when I do convey my thoughts. They're not organized. So then they don't seem to hit with people and they might not take them as serious. It's like, no, I promise you this makes sense. You just have to follow the trail of red wires from picture to picture. So journaling has helped me. I'm not ever telling anyone else, but I'm just saying, sharing my experiences. Yeah. But as a creative, do you think that gives you a different perspective? Does it gives you like different ideas and all this stuff? Dealing with OCD and ADHD at the same time, not that obviously it has a negative impact in some relationships. Yeah. But do you feel that then also lends itself into making you a stronger or more creative?
Yeah. I mean, I think
more
that
creative
in some way, yeah. I think, well, there's two things that I think that having ADHD, that lack of guardrails, I don't want to say makes me mostly fearless because I have a lot of fears like anyone, but like I just wake up and decide to do things. Like there's no one stopping me. Not that there's anyone stopping anyone else, but like just like
there can be.
Yeah.
That's usually them.
So in that sense it's really helpful because it's like you could literally you could spend at least the next decade or maybe longer than I've actually doing photography looking through all my work. Mm-hmm. Like undoubtedly. And that's because I think in a lot of sense there's been nothing that's held me back, probably as a result of having ADHD and just following every little motion that
impulse that you've had.
Yeah. For better or worse. I mean, this instance, it's like we're sitting in this gallery with all of my work. It's like it's worked out pretty well for the art. And I'd say even life in general, like it's worked out really well despite like mostly relational hardship or maybe like even financial things at times because I've just like made decisions. Like, I don't know if they were like necessarily impulsive, but it's like last year I opened my own studio and then I simultaneously like 8 months later closed my own studio because I couldn't afford it. And it's like, would I have done those same things if I had like these normal guardrails that like a neurotypical brain does? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I never stopped to think about it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I'd say it's a blessing overall, but like there are definitely impacts to it, whether it's relationally or financially.
Yeah. Look, so I might piss some people off. It's fine.
Piss them off. Do it.
I'm used to pissing people off. So yeah, you took a risk. It didn't work out. It's better than the motherfucker who sat around saying that they had a plan for 7 years and never did shit because the time wasn't right. It wasn't perfect. They didn't research every single fucking thing. They didn't have every financial aspect of it. A lot of the times, the people who are successful took the biggest risks.
For sure.
Like nothing risk, nothing gain. Yeah. So if you sit around and be like, well, I have to wait till the right. No, unless you were born into a fuck ton of money. Yeah. And you like had everything planned out perfectly since you've existed. You're not going to find the perfect time for anything.
Yeah.
There will always be a reason not to. All right, guys. So that's going to call it for part 1 of our episode with David Lawrence, local photographer, ultra marathon runner, fantastic human being, and honestly a lot of fun to talk to. So make sure you tune in next week for part 2 where we round out this episode with David Lawrence. If you'd like more behind the scenes and more bonus content, make sure that you subscribe to our Patreon. Even at $1 entry, you will get access to some uncut and unfiltered content and episodes, as well as videos from behind the scenes, including stuff that never even got recorded audio. So make sure you sign up there. As always, guys, stay safe, drink responsibly, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Hey, guys. Today's episode is brought to you by Burn Termite and Pest Control. I first met Joe Byrne on Full Frontal Nerdity Show and decided to give his company a try. They have been the best pest service I've ever had, from flexible scheduling, attention to detail, fair pricing, and everything you love about a small business. I highly recommend Joe Byrne and Burn Termite and Pest Control. It's a family-owned and operated business with over 30 years of experience in termite and pest. You can reach Burn Termite and Pest Control at 321-297-7985. Once again, 321-297-7985. And let them know Bourbon and Bullshit sent you. Thanks, guys. See you next time.